And now joining us is reality TV star with Summer House on Bravo. You could also check out his podcast that he does along with Sophie Cunningham, a childhood friend. And that, of course, is Wes Wilson, kind enough to join us on the Zach Gelb Show. Wes, appreciate you doing this. Thanks so much for the time. And how you been?
I've been good, brother. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate you.
Well, I just saw some unfortunate news, and I hate to start you off this way, that Sophie Cunningham's going to miss the rest of the regular season with a right knee injury. That's what the Indiana Fever just announced. Just how do you kind of react to that, since that's a close personal friend of yours?
Yeah, I knew she was hurt. We actually just recorded our podcast for this week right before I hopped on with you, and found out, season ending. So that's a bummer. Injuries suck in sports. I don't know. It always hurts a little more when it's someone close to you and you know how much work they put in and how much they love playing the game. So, yeah, that's a huge bummer. And their team is, like, super banged up this year. I don't know. There's some bug going around. I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes you just have one of those seasons, and it's always unfortunate when you get hurt, but especially where her stardom was starting to skyrocket, especially that night when she was defending Caitlyn Clark, and so many people fell in love with Sophie Cunningham, and she became an overnight sensation, and they learned more about her. Let me take you back to that night, you knowing her for basically your entire life. How did you kind of process that night when, okay, that's your friend, and she became a huge star in that moment?
Her fighting was not a surprise at all. If anyone knows her, that's not a surprise. Even just like if you remember it, she did it with like such a stoic face. It was just like nothing new to her. And I think it was really cool, just given how I think fighting in sports, for the most part, pretty frowned upon right now. But that kind of a little silver lining moment where it was very clear she was sticking up for her friend and teammate who has been, I'd say, getting a little bit of an unfair treatment in the league she plays in. And so it was just one of those nights. And I don't know, to see it, like, who she is as a person, defending her friend, get kind of celebrated in a way was crazy. And just now that TikTok is what it is and people can make fan edits of all that type of stuff, was just so crazy to see. But she's a good basketball player too, not just a fighter.
Well, they go hand in hand sometimes, and it was awesome to see for the reasons that you just said. For you, have you met Caitlyn Clark, and what was that experience like, if you did?
I actually haven't yet. She's pretty a hard person to come by, but this podcast and all this has started. Like, Sophie didn't get traded until right before this season started, so she's pretty new to Indianapolis and the Fever and all of that as well. But my little brother actually went to Iowa, so I've been kind of following the Caitlyn Clark story for a long time, and it would be a dream to meet her. Even cooler if we could maybe, little guest appearance on the podcast. We'll see if Sophie can make it happen, but that would be an incredible experience for sure.
Well, I'm just saying, if Travis Kelce, right, who's dating Taylor Swift, was able to get Taylor Swift on the pod, I would think Sophie Cunningham being really good friends with Caitlyn Clark and defending her, it's kind of like Caitlyn Clark owes you one, if I'm just being honest.
The big question would be if Caitlyn Clark is down to do a podcast with someone who's on a reality TV show is the biggest question.
Yeah, so how'd you get involved in that with Bravo and Summer House? How does one Wes Wilson get on a reality TV show like that?
So I worked for Bleacher Report for about 4 years. Great job, was having the time of my life. Surprise layoff happened and was kind of scrambling, trying to figure out what I was going to do next. And that opportunity just sort of found its way onto my doorstep, and I was in no position to say no, honestly. But this show is very parallel to the sort of summers I would have been having in New York anyway. So I didn't have to drop a lot to make it happen. So I kind of just said yes. And my mom always jokes that I needed a summer job. And so I just said, yeah. And actually ended up getting hired for my current complex job that first summer while I was doing the Bravo show. So it's all just kind of been this big circus of saying yes to stuff.
Yeah, and being in the sports media world, you know this. Your mentions are a cesspool. Then you get on a reality TV show.
Dude.
And I don't know what the next level is to a cesspool, especially with some of the controversies that happen. And I don't watch Summer House, but I've had enough people tell me when I said, oh, Wes Wilson's coming on, they're like, oh, you got to ask about this, you got to ask him about that. getting thrown into that world, what was that like for you on a personal standpoint?
So I've had trolls obviously for a while, and I played sports in college, so it's not my first time getting my feelings hurt. The only difference with reality TV is it's kind of, I can handle if someone calls me slow or says I, don't fill the B gap well, but when it's about your personality and who you are as a person, it always stings a little bit more than when it's just about how you play a sport or the work you do. But honestly, the internet is the internet now. I was lucky to kind of be exposed to it for a few years before I did the show, and so it's a learning curve. But I've weathered plenty of storms before, so here we are.
Yeah, and it always gets to people eventually, but I would imagine at this point you're kind of just numb to it, and you just understand, hey, 50% of the people are going to love you, and then 50% of the people are going to hate you. And in most cases, the people that hate you, they'll just say it online. The people in person, they're not really going to go up to you and really confront you and say too many things that crazy.
Yeah, not to get too serious, but I mean, nothing bad happens if you're not on your phone. Like, the world outside of your phone is a beautiful place with nice people who treat you with respect, and you have to tell yourself that a lot when you're really going through it. But yeah, the Twitter sports world, the Reddit reality TV world, it's all very dark, and you just got to learn to figure it out.
Yeah, Reddit's probably the worst. Like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you get it from all different angles. Reddit's probably the nastiest that people ever said things about me.
Scary place.
Yeah. So let me ask you just one more about Sophie, and then we'll get into what you're doing today with Captain Morgan and also Pluto Golf. As Wes Wilson's here with us, reality TV star, also does a podcast with Sophie Cunningham. So you guys just grew up together? Like, how'd you guys become so close?
Oh, yeah, same hometown. I don't know. Yeah, this is HIPAA. I guess I can say it. Well, they're both okay with it. My mom is delivering her sister's kids as we speak. Like, it's happening today.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, Columbia, Missouri, not a small town per se, but I mean, 3 public high schools. Sophie and I both went to Rockbridge High School. I was 2 years older, and I think I don't know, sports athletes kind of run in the same circles, and our women's basketball team when I was in high school was incredible. And then Sophie stayed in Columbia, went to the University of Missouri, where both my parents went, where I grew up. And so it's just, I've been watching Sophie play basketball since I was probably 15 years old. So
she ever play with the boys when you guys were growing up? Did she ever kick your guys' ass?
Dude, they had boys come in and play the girls team just to try to body them up every once in a while. And luckily I was busy, I was probably track season for me, so I never got peer pressured into doing it. But Sophie could handle her own, as we've all seen. So
yeah. All righty. So tell me what you got cooking today with Captain Morgan Slice and also Pluto Golf.
So Sliced, I got on the Slice team 2 summers ago. Actually, we had a campaign about slicing off your bucket list and a lot of fun travel stuff, and we did a full pivot. And now it's about playing the Slice, very golf related, which actually works for me as someone who is has not perfected their drive yet.
Preach.
And so yeah, it actually worked. We went and did a video shoot a few weeks ago, and the first swing I took came off the tee nice for about 1 second, then fully sliced into the woods. And I was like, I guess that's kind of the point of what today is. So they're also partnering up with a brand called Pluto Golf, who is kind of meeting golf and streetwear in the middle, and it's a very cool line. And for me, I think I've always kind of turned my nose, as someone who played football, I've thought the etiquette of golf was too tight and clean for me, and I couldn't really relate to it in that capacity. And so I did a photo shoot with Pluto Golf, and they told me to turn my hat around backwards, and I could kind of wear my socks. It was a fun way to kind of meet in the middle. And the stuff they're making is dope, and it looks good with the Captain Morgan Slice drinks. It's just kind of all been perfect.
Well, I know you're a big Kansas City sports fan, and you're wearing the Royals hat right now. Where's your favorite barbecue spot in Kansas City?
So growing up, it was always Gates. My dad would take me to Gates before we would go to Chiefs games. We'd have to practice our order in the car and then go in and try and get it right. But I will give a shout out to Q39 is a newer spot in town, and Q39 has blown me out of the water the last 4 times I've gone, and it's
Have you been to
remarkable.
Jack Stacks?
Yeah, I've been to Jack Stack. Jack Stack we go is more kind of like the sit down. If aunt and uncles are in town, you'll go have some sides and like some sit down beers, but Q39 is doing it special over there right now. So
yeah, we were out there a few years ago for the draft, and I actually came back, flew into Kansas City before driving to Lincoln, Nebraska for a football game because I wanted some barbecue.
Where'd you go?
I went to Jack Stacks, but I've been to Q39 when we were also out there for the draft. Hey, I know you got to run, so one last thing I got to ask you.
You're good.
When you were working for Bleacher Report,
yeah.
I heard you got in a little incident with Gary Bettman. What happened there?
Yeah, dude. It's a long story, but basically hopped on a call and tried to ask a question that I thought was good, which I still stand on the question. Is basically, I know the NFL deals with safety the same way hockey does, where you're trying to preserve the game, but also prove you care about head safety. But I used the word violent a couple times, which is in his tool bag of trigger words, and he lost it on me in front of my whole company, kind of embarrassed me. And then after the call was over, you know, when you get the call from like your boss's boss, you know it's not good. They kind of pulled me from everything hockey, and I thought it was over. And then somehow in the past 6 months, they pulled me from a Blues care package or something like that because they didn't want to be friends still. So I said it's back on, and the rivalry still lives on. So
you're permanently banned from the NHL, pretty much.
I can get into games, but work-wise, if I had to talk to anyone, I don't think they would allow me in anywhere with a credential. That's for sure.
That's crazy. Your Chiefs this year, do you find it hilarious that everyone's once again saying they're vulnerable and that they're going to start to crumble?
I'm so over. Like, have we not learned our lesson as a media to just like, let's not pick the Chargers to win the AFC West because it's like, actually the Broncos are kind of the darling right now from everything I'm watching. But as long as there's 15 and Andy Reid, I don't know why you would ever doubt them. It's just to be different, I suppose. But
yeah, I'm a Patriot fan, so I've
you
been
get
through all that. So I understand. You keep on winning, and then people just keep on hating you more and more, and it's awesome. And eventually it ends, but when you have all those rings, it's a weird way. You love it, but it also ruins football for you because then whoever replaces Mahomes down the road, you're like, okay, even if they suck, it doesn't matter. I've seen so many championships.
Yeah, and I mean, the Brady chase is kind of I'll let Brady can stay number one, but I think even just the AFC QB talk flabbergasts me. Mahomes has the second most playoff wins in the history of the NFL. Like, what are we doing? You don't realize how crazy everyone is until you're on the side that everyone hates and wants to pick apart, and you're like, is everyone this like naive? I don't know. It's just crazy.
Stupid. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So
thanks for saying it.
For first looks and exclusive content and more, follow at Captain Morgan USA and at Pluto.golf on Instagram. He, of course, is Wes Wilson. Wes, we'll get you back on. Really enjoyed the conversation.
Appreciate you, brother. Nice to meet you.